Welcome back to another episode of Tax Sale Starters, where we bring you latest tips and insights in tax lien and tax deed investing. This week, I have Brian Seidensticker with me. He has been joining me for the past few weeks, bringing us some insights to make tax lien and tax deed investing a lot simpler for you if you're just getting started, or even if you've been involved in tax liens or tax deeds for a bit. This will help you become a better investor. This week, we wanted to get a little bit deeper down a rabbit hole with Brian, and I think our question was, from one of our viewers, what liens stay attached after the auction? We've all heard that all mortgages get wiped out and all other existing liens are wiped out, and tax liens or tax deeds trump all. So we wanted to bring this question to Brian and get a little bit more information. So that question answered as soon as I return. Brian, thank you for joining us again. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Our question this week from the audience is, what liens stay attached after the tax sale? We know that typically tax liens or tax deeds are the in first position, but we know that can have different meanings depending on the state and county. Can you enlighten us a little bit on what liens actually stay attached to the property after the sale?
Well, I guess the general caveat I always add is it depends on the state. But in most cases, a mortgage will get wiped out, and there's exceptions to that. And I'll mention an example in Florida, because in general, mortgages get wiped out in Florida, but as long as they're called out in the tax deed application foreclosure process. So if the county, typically the county attorney, failed, or usually it's the title search that doesn't capture an open mortgage on a property, and that mortgage doesn't get called out as part of the notification process and that foreclosure, that mortgage is still applicable. So that is a common pothole that most people think doesn't exist, but definitely exists in Florida. I don't know the best way of getting around it. The title search doesn't catch it. I guess the only way to do that is do your own title search, and you might catch it. But I guess it depends how much you plan on spending that property. Other liens that typically stick, I've interviewed attorneys across the country. IRS seems to be a very common. I've heard one state, I can't remember which one, maybe it's Alabama, but almost all states IRS liens stick. Now the attorneys almost always will follow that up with, IRS typically doesn't care about liens on low value properties. If you start getting, property values, several $100,000 or $1 million, the IRS might come say, okay, I can collect on this, but for a few $1,000 property or $10,000 property or something, they're just going to let it go. You've got, I think it's 4 months or 120 days that they have to come calling or collecting. Yeah, otherwise just wait. Other ones that are pretty common to stick, again, it varies by state, but HOA liens, municipal, I'll call them liens, but they're not always filed as liens, but I'll say fines, right? You didn't mow your lawn. You didn't, your property's code violations, all that stuff typically sticks and is still, due even after a tax deed foreclosure or tax deed sale. Well, on the lien side, it's pretty easy. You're just adding another lien to the property. So everything that existed before stays there. A lien sale doesn't eliminate anything. There's stuff that gets eliminated through what happens after the lien goes through a foreclosure process, but there's nothing gets wiped out from the tax lien or tax lien certificate or tax certificate sale at all. It just is another lien on the property.
So that's safe to say that there could be multiple tax liens on one property with different investors in those positions?
Yes. I mean, every state's a little different, but in general, yes, you could end up with multiple tax liens on the same property owned by different people. Florida is one that you could have 7 different tax liens and 7 different tax lien holders on the same property. New Jersey, on the other hand, is opposite in the fact that they prefer to only have one lien holder on a property, so they give the lien holder first right to purchase subsequent liens, they call them, or subs. The investor can choose not to, and then if somebody else comes in, in New Jersey, that next to lien actually has priority, which is odd. And there's some states where it's different. The oldest lien has priority, and there's some states where it's the youngest lien that has priority. But yes, you could certainly have a situation in many states where you have multiple lien holders on the same property.
Great information, Brian. Thank you so much again for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And if you don't mind, we're going to bring you back again next week because we have a lot more to talk about. We want to get people up to speed and up to par on understanding tax liens and tax deeds so that they can be better investors. If you like the content that's coming across to you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can stay with the latest videos that we are producing to help you become a better investor. And always don't forget to check out taxselfinders.com, where you can get all of your latest auction lists, do all of the research on your property. It's a phenomenal tool. I love it. It's my go-to. And just check it out, taxselfinders.com. Until our next video, make it a great week. Happy investing.